So it sounds like there was maybe an aha moment in there regarding this for Extend Your Team business, which is your main focus today. So Extend Your Team, how did that start? What was the inspiration for that?
Actually, so, we talked first earlier about the journey, right? So when I think about it's really just a culmination of my journey. So for 3.5 years of the e-commerce business, I was working like a dog, and I had experimented with people overseas, right? And I just, it was always what everyone does, at least in the internet business that I know. They go for low level talent. I'm going to go get someone for $5 an hour. It's going to be a virtual assistant. They're going to, solve my life and do whatever for me. Yes, you can do that. But the truth is at $5 an hour, even in the Philippines, that's entry level. And what happens with entry level people is there's a lot of management time. It's just how it is. Right. So when I was previous to Third Rock Commerce, I had worked for a company called Zirtual for a hot second. This is before they were sold. What happened was that company, they were 450 people. I thought it was the greatest idea ever. They were US based, outsourced executive assistants. I thought this would be I thought it was a phenomenal business. Unfortunately, the financials were a little wonky the way they ran the business. So you want to go out. If you ever want to go out of business quickly in a people business, postpay, don't prepay. Have your clients postpay instead of prepay. Meaning collect the money at the end of the month versus the first of the month.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a staffing business, that just means the faster you grow, the more money you need in order to make payroll. It's just you can't get it. You have to be so profitable in order to get ahead of it. And on top of it, if you're doing an ACH, right, which is pulled directly from people's bank accounts, you don't get the money for 10. You bill them on whatever day. You don't get the money for up to 2 weeks. So, because it's cash out of the bank account, it's different. It's not a credit card. So now you have 6 weeks to cover, of cash you have to cover while you're growing. So, needless to say, they went out of business, or they were sold. So, they still exist. So I love this idea, and so I said, all right. Well, my wife said to me, "Why don't you get someone who is really good out of the Philippines to run your business?" I go, "Honey, I don't know anyone that's done this." Right? It's just I know people really successful. They've never outsourced the Philippines at that level. She looks at me. I don't know if you're married. She says, "Well, I think it's a country of 100 million people. I think there's one person who can probably help you." Like the biggest, you idiot voice. So she's a very senior executive, and so she's actually really good at hiring. So she's looking at me like I'm just an idiot. So I spent 2 months, 100 interviews. God knows how many resumes, probably 500 I reviewed, and whittled it down, and then hired this woman Angelica. She was chief of staff for a 100-person company. Came in to help me with my 6-person company because she hated her boss. Right? People leave for people. That's people leave for money, but people leave for people. And so what happened was she came in to my e-commerce business where I was working 14-hour days, and this is no exaggeration, I really was. She within a week got it 80% right. Within 6 weeks, I was working 3 hours a day. And then now I work, even now, the business still does $2 million. So it shrank dramatically, the e-commerce business. But, she runs that entire business for me. I talk to her about it. That's about it. Right? That's the extent of my involvement. So, 2 hours a week. So during COVID, when we had this, now a lot of free time, I said to her, "Hey, wait a second. And people thought I was crazy when I did it, but they loved it. They saw the results and were amazed. I said, why don't we start an agency? Find people like you. Can we find people like you? Yes." And that was the concept. Just get better people. That's it. Do not do cheap, get better people. People can help you with your business.